At this stage, I have really grave concerns that Ulster Bank neither has the capacity or the competency to deal with the tracker mortgage issue. So the reasons I say, I'm going to give you a couple of reasons why I say this. You've been before us time and time again, yet we have people in situations that you're ignoring. I'll just tell you one such. Do you think it's acceptable that somebody would send you 15 letters and make 20 phone calls to you and you wouldn't even respond to that person, other than to say, we can't give you a deadline of when your mortgage is going to be sorted out? Now, these people who are almost certain that they are in that category of people where you owe money, where you took money from them. Do you think that's acceptable? If you were trying to contact a customer and you made 20 phone calls and you sent them 15 letters, what would your opinion be of that person?
To address the initial question, we have a process. For that process, for the 3,490 customers that we initially committed to, we will have those customers remediated and repaid by the beginning of July. For those customers that are potentially in the extra 1,000, I don't know whether this customer is. If you're happy, if you want to send it to me, I'm happy to look at it, as I indeed do in many of the cases that are sent to me.
You see, it's the same thing. You see, we're here month after month after month. We're here all of the time, and we're getting the same thing. Apology, apology. We apologise. We apologise.
We're getting close to closure at this point.
But you told us that months ago.
No, so I told you when I was in here the last time we would deliver 2,500 for remediation in the first quarter. We delivered that. We are marginally behind the commitment of what I said we will do for June, but we will have that done for July. So we don't just talk about it, Senator, we do it.
Don't do it in relation to the people that
we
are
have
talking
an individual
to.
case, Senator, and I've taken individual.
It's not just an individual case. It's so many cases across the board where you won't communicate with them. There is no point in having a helpline when nobody can tell these people anything. Now, you told us there was 200 people working on the tracker mortgage situation. Correct. I think as a finance committee we have been patient and over-patient with how this has been dealt with. So you've settled, you told us 2,900 of those cases, that they're fully settled. 200 staff. Over what length of time?
200 staff, so I don't understand.
Yeah, you told us there was 200 staff working on the tracker mortgage situation to reassure us that it was being dealt with in a timely, speedy, competent manner. 200 staff.
And it's been over 200 at points in time as well for over 2 years.
So that's 14 and a half cases that have been settled for each member of staff that's working on this.
There is a process that we've had to go through to meet the requirements and the phases that are set out. We have gone through those. We have met. The last time I came in here to this committee, there was not an acceptance that we were going to meet our targets for 2,500. We've met it. We are close to meeting our targets for the 3,490, and we will address the residual 2,000 by the end of the year. For that residual 2,000, and this customer could be one of those instances, we still don't necessarily know the finite amounts in terms of their impact. We are in the process of communicating with all of those customers starting this week, next week.
Why cannot you give a decision? Why can't you give a decision to these customers?
Because there's a
why can't you engage with them? You know, you talk about non-performing loans and all that, and that, you know, people have been given different opportunities to engage. But you don't engage with people. As a bank, you don't engage with people. You set up a helpline and you send out standard letters, and this goes on for years.
The reason that we set up a helpline, the standard letters are until we work out what the customer is due, whether they're, first of all, whether they're impacted and what they are due. It is not a straightforward process, but it is coming to an end.
What is the point of a helpline when it doesn't give any help?
You are hearing individual instances, and I appreciate, that is extremely infuriating from a customer perspective, but that helpline is dealing with an awful lot more than just that.
So you said earlier there was no groups in dispute. Is that what you said? There was no groups in dispute.
What I said was, we are not in dispute with the central bank on any of the cohorts deemed impacted.
So there's no groups in dispute, and this is why I can't get around then why you can't give these people a decision if there isn't a dispute. Even to say to them, yes, you are included in this, you have been impacted. We need a little bit more time to work out the extent that you've been impacted, or to give you a figure. Why cannot you give these people that information?
Well, I will go back. I will make a commitment to go back and look at the messaging we are giving these customers. But, Senator, I don't want to imply that it is not a simple process to work out the calculations of what they are due. But there is a cohort of customers there in that 2,000 that we need to bed down. We know the 3,490, but in that 2,000 that we need to bed down and clearly identified. So some of those customers we will still be giving a message to that we haven't necessarily landed on your particular case as to whether you're impacted or not impacted until we get through that for the end of this year.
I don't think it's acceptable at all. I can accept complicated calculations in terms of the amount owing, but I cannot accept that after this many years you still cannot tell people you're not in dispute with any groups, that you cannot write to these people and say, yes, you're included in this, we will be back to you with a figure.
But all of that concluded by the end of this year. That's all I can say.
By the end of the year?
Yes.
Totally unacceptable. How many more do you think there are going to be in those cases then, on top of the 5,500 cases that you have, in the people who haven't been contacted yet and the people that are at the end of the process of getting no communication whatsoever other than a 60-day letter? I mean, how many more are there?
There are 2,000 customers that we have not contacted yet and are in the process of now contacting.
When will they be contacted by?
They are being contacted in this week, next week.
And will they be contacted by more than just a standard letter saying...
I would need to go back, Senator, and look at the communication.
Unfortunately, we cannot give you a timeline for correspondence.
I would need to go back and look, but the idea is that they will be identified as customers who are impacted and they will know that fact. They won't know the amount of the compensation or remediation at that point.
But they will know that within the next couple of weeks?
Yes.
I'll have to take you at your word at that.